Hey, Master Gardeners. For the last 3 days when I've been hiking my dog out here on sunny afternoons, I've been noticing a large black beetle on surface of the soil, not among the grass, but in the dead spots where the soil is exposed. And some of them have even been mating. And so it's a curiosity, and some of you probably already know what they are because they're called oil beetles or blister beetles, rightfully named blister beetles. That's why I have gloves on, because I want to show them to you up close. But you have to handle them carefully because they have a property called reflexive bleeding, which means when they're irritated and agitated, they can exude a chemical substance from between their appendages that causes a rash of blistering and redness on your skin. And it actually has many medicinal qualities that are used scientifically. So you can look up some of those characteristics. But let's take a look at these little guys, at what they look like. Now, they're up and down the trail, and they feed on things like grasses, and they feed on foliage and flowers. So here, I had them in my little container. Let me get them rolled over. I put some dandelions on here so you could get a frame of reference. There's girls and there's boys. The girls can be distinguished from the boys by the fact that they, come on little buddy. I had an ice cube in with them to slow them down a bit. So there they are. You can get a frame of reference of size. Not that I want to touch them, but there they are. Can you make out any of those antennae? The males have a bent antenna. That one has straight antennas, as you can see, because he's wiping that. I had him with an ice cube. So there's another. This one is also a female. Or is there a bend in that one? There's a bend in that one, so that one's a male blister beetle. Fascinating. So the chemical that they release is called cantharidin, and cantharidin has other medicinal properties. Look at the big one up here, just sitting there. So sometimes there'll be pests in your garden, but they actually don't cause a lot of harm and damage in your garden. It's pretty negligible. So if you have them, really just deal with them. If they become a problem, then you might have to do some treatment, but really just leave them alone. In a few weeks they would be gone. They're attracted here in this area to the fields because we have lots of horse nettle in the fields, and they're attracted to anything in the potato family as well as the aster family and amaranths. We have a lot of pigweed in the fields here, so they're here because of that. And they feed on legumes, and that can really present a problem because they'll be in alfalfa fields, and when farmers harvest their hay, these beetles can be crushed inside of the hay and then consumed by animals like sheep or horses, and they can be lethal because this cantharidin caustic chemical can actually kill animals. So that's one reason that we don't want to mess with them. But one of the most fascinating characteristics, where did the other two go? Let me move this one back over here. So you get a good view. But another characteristic is they're hyper-metamorphic, which means they have a complete metamorphosis, and it's larva stages, and it's very juvenile. Oh, this one's getting wild and wacky now. In their juvenile stages, he says, let me back in the grass. Let me back in the grass. In their juvenile stages, they have little three-pronged legs, and they'll release a pheromone that can somewhat mimic, where'd that guy go? There he is. That can mimic the smell pheromones of a male bee, and so the honeybee will land on the flowers. These little juveniles are real rapid moving. They'll climb right up plants, get up on the flowers, attract the male honeybees, and then they'll attach themselves onto the body of the honeybee, and the male will mate with the female honeybee, and the honeybee will then carry this insect larva back to the honey colony where these blister beetle larvae will then feed on the pollen and things that are in the honeybee colony. So they're not considered parasitic because they don't just eat the honeybees, they also are feeding on the pollen and things in the colony. So come here, turn over. There you go, little buddy. So they're not considered parasitic because of that reason. But anyway, kind of fascinating little beetle, not one that you want to play with, not one that you want your dog playing with. So there it is, blister beetles, a new find here up and down my trail. And it's May in Maryland. How about that, Master Gardeners?